Want to catch up on everything that happened in Game of Thrones Season 1 but haven't the time to watch it? Okay then, let's do it. 3 dudes riding out of a gate in lots and lots of snow. Gods, that must be cold. They discover a weird circle of dead people arranged all pretty-like. You know what would make it even creepier? Ice zombies. Suddenly it's an ice zombie! Ned looks stoic and is informed a man needs beheading. He beheads said man. Like a boss. On the way home, they discover wolves. Look at the symbolism. Just look at it.
What is this symbolism?
Jon Arryn, Hand of the King, is dead. Lannisters nearby worry about what he knew. Raven postal strikes delay the news of Jon Arryn's death from reaching Ned. Ned, all your parents are dead now, including the adoptive one. King Robert and entourage rock up in the north to make Ned's life more difficult. Robert's changed a little.
You got fat.
They hang out in a creepy crypt and lament the dead. Later that night, more Raven post arrives. Catelyn's sister suspects treachery most foul. Detective Ned vows to investigate. Bran climbs those towers he promised not to climb, finding Lannisters, one of whom seems to care very deeply about his relationships. In the east, a sister and a brother are hanging out doing Targaryen things. She's being sold to a horse lord, and he's being a bit of a dick. Dany and Khal Drogo are getting hitched. Magister Illyrio finds it dull.
A Dothraki wedding without at least 3 deaths is considered a dull affair.
But he also got her dragon eggs. Dany and Drogo go and consummate the marriage on a cliff with a wonderful sea view before they all head to Dothraki Central. In the north, Tyrion displays the imp slap. Cersei goes to visit the crippled Bran. We all know she's a heartless bitch, none of this fake caring. Jaime and Jon have a battle of wits. Jaime wins it handily.
It's only for life.
Jon gives Arya a new sewing needle, because he's a caring brother like that. Jon and Ned ride part of the journey together, Ned promising to tell Jon who his mother is when he gets back. Stop foreshadowing your own death, Sean Bean! Robert and Ned have a delightful picnic in the sun. Someone tries to kill Bran with a dagger. Instead, they lose a throat to the wolf. Catelyn decides to go south to meddle, because she is meddlesome. Joffrey tries to be a tough guy. Arya beats the snot out of him and throws his blade into a lake. Sandor Clegane goes hunting, and Ned is forced to kill off a wolf.
What is this symbolism?
Ned arrives in King's Landing, the palace chamberlain not approving very much of his attire. Ned attends a council meeting and finds out that the kingdoms are in nearly as much debt as America.
If we already owe Lord Tywin 3 million gold, what's another 80,000?
Are you telling me the crown is 3 million in debt?
I'm telling you the crown is 6 million in debt.
Catelyn arrives in King's Landing much quicker than Ned did, proving that women can indeed read maps. She's directed to a whorehouse to meet a man named Littlefinger. Littlefinger completely underestimates Ned's ability to not catch sarcasm. He gives Detective Cat a lead, and she leaves to pursue it. Littlefinger tells Ned not to trust anyone, but predictably Ned trusts him anyway. In the east, Viserys continues to indulge in his favourite pastime, being humiliated in front of everyone.
You walk.
Ned arranges for dancing lessons for Arya. I've heard of sword dancing, but this is bordering on ridiculous.
Dead? Dead. Very dead.
Ned is tracking down why Jon Arryn died. He borrows a book from the library. It's fucking huge! He also goes looking for Robert's bastards.
Find anything? King Robert's bastard son.
At the tourney, one of Ned's leads is killed in a fairly suspicious manner. Lances through throats will do that. Catelyn, our semi-caped crusader, finds Tyrion Lannister and calls upon her League of Justice to take him to the Vale. Varys and Littlefinger have a battle of passive aggressiveness in the throne room, and vaguely worded threats with vaguely worded intentions are vaguely said. Robert actually turns up to a council meeting, probably because the agenda for this one was threats of death. Ned hands in his resignation. Robert is mildly disgruntled by this turn of events. Jaime turns up to the brothel to ask Ned if he'd be interested in investing with Apple. They've just released the eye stab. Ned and Jaime have a face-off, and a guard sees his big chance for promotion. Sneak attack! Robert rekindles the bromance with Ned, naming him Hand again and vaguely apologizing for being an idiot in general. Daenerys eats a heart. Totally gross, dude. Viserys attempts to steal the dragon eggs, but Jorah Mormont stops him with a cool house motto drop.
Loyalty means nothing to you.
It means everything to me.
And yet here you stand.
And yet here I stand.
Symbolism. What is this symbolism there?
Tyrion demands a trial by combat, naming Jaime as his champion. Lysa sees his gambit and vetoes. Bronn decides that he'll stand for the dwarf.
I'll stand for the dwarf.
Robert leaves Ned in charge so he can go hunting. Ned wastes around 5 minutes before naming people traitors and demanding their heads. He finally reads that book that he borrowed and he discovers evidence that Robert's kids aren't actually his kids.
Robert Baratheon, black of hair. Joffrey Baratheon, golden head.
Viserys demands his crown. It seems clear that he doesn't understand how literal language barriers can make people. Drogo was just trying to help. Tywin Lannister gives a lecture to Jaime about being all that is a proper family man while skinning a stag. Manly. Ned reveals to Cersei that he knows about the children. She says he's overplayed his hand. Robert returns from the hunt, gored by a boar. He's dead, Jim. He names Ned as Lord Protector until Joffrey comes of age. Ned pulls a fast one and writes until the rightful heir comes of age instead. In the east, Jorah Mormont is having doubts and decides to save Daenerys from a wine assassin. Smooth moves to get in there, Jorah, my lad. Ned declares that as Robert is dead and he is Lord Protector, that he will hold the throne until Stannis Baratheon, Robert's brother, can arrive to claim it. Surprising no one except Ned, Littlefinger betrays him.
Did warn you not to trust me.
Curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal.
His household is killed or captured, except for Arya. Jon swears his Night's Watch vows before a tree with a creepy Carnivale mask for a face, and they find a dead man, a walking dead man. The Night's Watch head north. Tyrion makes some new friends and leads them to see his father. Tywin sees it as an excellent opportunity to rid himself of the annoying child.
And here we have Bronn, son of...
You wouldn't know him.
Khal Drogo has a face-off with one of his captains, killing the poor bastard in a magnificently brutal way. He is wounded, falling off his horse, and he cannot be healed. Humpty Dumpty. Barristan the Bold exits stage right with a snarky display of awesome.
Even now I could cut through the 5 of you like carving a cake. Here, boy. Melt it down and add it to the others.
In the north, Robb calls his vassals to arms for a rescue mission. He gets stuck at a bridge and agrees to a blind marriage. He also defeats Jaime Lannister and has him taken prisoner. The Starks do have the right brother now. Too late for Ned. Poor dead Ned. Joffrey shows off his new hobby, collecting dead people's heads and mounting them on spikes. Artistic, if uninspired. News of Ned's death arrives. The Great John has one thing to say to this.
There sits the only king I mean to bend my knee to. The King of the North!
To close off the season, Drogo dies and Dany decides that she's going to die with him. Instead, she walks into a pyre and hatches dragons, emerging unharmed. Fire and blood, motherfuckers.